Tonight on TBN, are you Team Delta or Phi? For the first time in a year, the school tradition of Founders Day makes a comeback, bringing excitement on campus. TBN covers all the teacher awards given this year and the exhilaration of the day. Dining Hall Dilemma. We talked to students and faculty about the switch to one-use utensils and dishware in the dining hall. Sustainability classes and environmental initiative EFFECT are hard at work to find a more sustainable option for the school. In celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, the Language Department and student-led Latinos Unidos Club welcome a food truck and mariachi band on campus to commence the celebration. All this next. Good evening and welcome to the Tower Broadcast Newsroom. I'm your host Lays, and we are recapping and following the latest news. It's safe to say that, as a community, we have all been through a lot together for the past few months as our sense of normalcy was taken away due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many new protocols were put in place, and school events and traditions had to be put on pause for the safety of our community. However, we are beginning to see a light at the end of the tunnel as long-awaited traditions are making their way back to campus. One of these being a gathering of the middle and upper school to commemorate Eliza Bailey Masters, the school's founder. You guessed it, it's Founders Day. TBN recaps the day and all of its excitement.
On October 1st, for the first time in over a year, a sea of red and blue erupted on the reunion field in a friendly competition and celebration for the beloved Masters tradition known as Founders Day. Grades 5 through 12 gathered to honor the school's founder, Eliza Bailey Masters, and partake in intense grade-wide games of tug-of-war. The Founders Day event also took time to recognize 6 teachers as head of school Laura Danforth presented faculty awards. Visual arts teacher Bruce Robbins received the 1977 Centennial Fund Award. Upper school Spanish teacher Roberto Mercedes was awarded the Illinois Fund for Language Award for outstanding teaching of language. Upper school history teacher Eric Shapiro received the Leigner Fund for History Award for outstanding teaching in history. Upper school English teacher Lisa Green received the Maureen Fonseca Faculty Chair for Teaching Excellence Award. 8th grade dean and science teacher Morgan Lewis received the Margaret Coulter Fund for Science Award for excellence in the field of science. And finally, upper school math teacher Anna Cabral was presented with the Parvin Fund for Mathematics Award for outstanding teaching in mathematics. Once the awards were given, students made their way to the field to commence the competition. The school was split up into 2 teams, Delta, represented by the color blue, and Phi, represented by the color red. With anticipation and excitement in the air, the tug-of-war games were off. Senior Kyle Benson, one of the 3 Dobbs Athletic Association student presidents, commented on how exciting it was to bring the long-awaited tradition back to campus after having to cancel last year's event due to COVID restrictions.
I think a lot of the energy was lost last year because of COVID, and a lot of restrictions were set in place, so the fact that we were able to have a real functioning Founders Day, which I think was one of the best ones we had in a long time, it felt really nice, and just seeing everybody have so much fun, especially the upperclassmen and my grade and the seniors especially, like really rewarding for all the work we put into it.
At the end of the games, Phi came out victorious, winning the majority of the tug-of-war games. Megan McWilliams, faculty advisor of DAA, was ecstatic with the ending of the day.
It was a great day, couldn't have been nicer weather, and Phi came out with the win, come from behind win. So I'm really excited. Go Phi.
Carol Quiraz, TBN, the Masters School.
The dining hall dishware has led to problems with recycling and composting. We talked to the dining hall general manager, EFFECT leaders, and students in the sustainability class to get their perspective on the situation. Hans Gicciano on the story.
Trash cans and single-use dishware have been the new norm in the dining hall. These changes were made by the administration in part to get students outdoors.
I think it's a situation that most people are aware of the fact that we are still dealing with COVID, and we are dealing with the situation where not everyone can eat inside the dining hall. And it means that people have to go outside the dining hall, and with that, the idea of having a reusable plate that probably wouldn't make its way back to the dining hall, or a cup that wouldn't make its way back to the dining hall. And when you look at, in the past, when we have all been able to eat in the dining hall, how often we were replacing these items, it made more sense to use something that someone could take with them and throw out, with the idea being that it was at least compostable.
However, the dishware is made out of materials that make compost difficult, according to AFFECT faculty advisor Courtney White and AFFECT co-chair Tyler Hack.
While the intentions were really good and it's great, we just don't have the type of composting that's required for some of the materials that they've purchased. And so we're learning from that. That material requires very high heat. And so food scrap composting doesn't get hot enough to break down that material in a responsible way. So if we tried to take the compost, the industrial composting, and compost it with food scraps here, we would likely get a lot of rodents. We would have things with materials wouldn't break down. We'd get a lot of issues with the compost, and it would be even riskier in terms of composting right now.
But on-campus compost also poses challenges.
Anytime you're doing composting, there's always pathogens, and there's still health issues related to handling food that people have had up against their mouth where there's aerosols. And so we hope to bring back the food scrap composting soon.
Junior Eli West added his thoughts about the importance of composting correctly.
So when it doesn't break down, it actually creates methane, which is worse than CO2. And so again, it's really important that if we do stick with the throwaway plates and utensils, that they're being composted correctly.
Additionally, Hack and White explained that recycling is also not possible with the current dining hall materials.
Because it's like bioplastics and not the same plastics that you would find given out at most restaurants. If you put that in with the same plastics and it gets melted down with those in a recycling center, it will weaken those plastics, and I believe the whole batch will have to be thrown out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it basically contaminates the recycled plastic. So it feels like plastic, and the cups feel like plastic. The silverware and the cups feel like plastic, but they're actually bioplastics, and they do take that industrial compost. And so right now you'll notice all the recycling bins are missing. They're not in the dining hall because all of that actually needs to go into the trash until or if we contract with an outside company that is able to do industrial or commercial composting.
The sustainability course, taught by White, presented a draft of their waste management recommendation proposal to Chief Financial Officer Ed Biddle and Dining Hall General Manager Lee Bergelson to get their input. Junior Nicole Degelman talked about some of the ideas incorporated in the proposal.
Part of the proposal was finding a way to keep track of the plates. So even if we did use reusable ones, we would be able to keep track of who was taking them where and how to bring them back. We were thinking of using a checkout method where you use your student IDs and you can check out certain plates to bring them places. This is especially useful for people in the dorms who want to take food back and eat and then can bring their reusable plates back to the dining hall. We were thinking of doing something like having display cases with what materials can be recycled and what should go in the garbage so that we can keep the recycling contamination free and it can be properly disposed of.
White described her vision of sustainability for the school.
Sustainability means meeting your needs today without compromising future generations' needs. And that means thinking about people and the environment and economic decisions, really shifting the mindset as a whole, because it reaches far greater than just the dining hall issue, and it's really a different way. It's shifting our social norms here at Masters School.
The sustainability class is working towards their final draft of their proposal, and we'll be sure to share the latest should it get approved. Hannah Schijano, TBN, the Masters School.
Finally, tonight, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, the Latinos Unidos Club partnered with the Language Department in order to bring the celebration onto campus. Starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th, Hispanic Heritage Month is an opportunity to acknowledge the contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. A handful of lucky students were able to grab something to eat at a food truck and also experience a live mariachi band. Carol Queiroz reports on this event.
On Wednesday, September 15th, National Hispanic Heritage Month of the United States began, a month dedicated to celebrating and acknowledging the influence of Hispanic Americans on the history, culture, and achievements of the United States. In honor of this month, student-run club Latinos Unidos partnered with the language department to host a Hispanic food truck on campus on September 24th. Upper school Spanish teacher Roberto Mercedes expressed his excitement of the event and the variety of food options.
I really love the food truck. The food truck, they have aguas. Aguas is Jamaica, horchata, that's drinks, and also quesadillas, tacos, also burritos. I really love it.
Participating students were let out of fourth period classes early to enjoy these traditional Hispanic foods and drinks. The event received so much student interest beforehand, a lottery was held to determine which lucky students would attend. One of those lucky students was senior Teddy Diamond.
I think it's a great cultural experience and a great opportunity for others to experience a food type that we may not be all familiar with.
As students enjoyed the celebration under the tent by Esterwood, the Tierra Mia Mariachi Band made its way on campus, playing Hispanic music for the community and wrapping up the event. Freshman Samantha Weber emphasized her love for the cultural experience and the music.
It's just really nice having live music. I mean, they're all really talented, and performing live under a tent, it's just so nice.
Un aplauso al mariachi Tierra Mia!
Carol Queiroz, TBN, the Masters School.
And that's all we have time for here today on TBN. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to follow Tower Broadcast News on YouTube and at Masters Tower on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm Lays, and from the TBN team and all of us here at Tower, have a great day.